Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed arriving to the last stretch of our EU Industry Days, and to give us a good recap and take-home messages, I would like to invite on stage Director General for the Internal Market, Industry, Entrepreneurship and SMEs of the European Commission, Kerstin. Jorna, you have the floor. Let's give it a final impetus round of applause. I got you rushing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, this is the end of three fantastic days. And if I retain one sentence, for me personally, it's Europe is a continent of opportunities. And I don't say that only because you were so many attending. More than 1,600 here in Malaga, same amount more or less online, and that shows already your commitment. And I do not only say opportunity because there were 200 panelists, thank you for being part of this, 39 moderators and 16 exhibitors on the outside. And I do not only say it because the absolute world-class team of DG GROW, together with the authorities here in Malaga, have organized this whole event in a really impeccable manner. And because of all of you, I think, first of all, we have to give a big applause. Continent of opportunities. I also say this because I heard 4 very strong reasons why we are a continent of opportunities. And these reasons is access to market, access to critical input, access to finance, and access to skills. I'll say a word on all these 4 and what I heard. Access to market. First of all, I mean, the single market, this is like the heart chamber with the 4 freedoms, the freedom of goods, to move goods, services, capital, and people. We remove borders and barriers for growth and trade within the EU. Some studies actually suggest that we do this in a better way, and it's easier to do business in Europe than in the US. And so we are more integrated. We also provide rule of law. Your investment is safe in Europe. We also provide predictability. Rulemaking doesn't depend on one single election. Rulemaking depends on the elections for the European Parliament, but also on the elections in 27 countries for their governments. And that determines how the rules are made. There is a long view in our rulemaking. And as example, I'd like to quote the climate law. But also, we are providing a unique system of social partnership between employers and workers and dialogue. And collectively, we are providing first-class health systems and social security. And of course, our rules make that we live in a clean and safe environment. But also, and I heard that the outlook for a couple of markets are amazing around the clean tech, and that was obviously one of the focus points on our discussion. Renovation wave. We're aiming at renovating 35 million of not so good buildings by 2030. With 9 million electric cars sold, Europe is the second biggest electric car vehicle or electric vehicle market worldwide, twice the size of the US, just to put it into perspective. For wind, we are almost tripling the market size. Measured by volume by 2030. We want to go from 15 gigawatt gigawatt now to 42 gigawatt in 2030. Electrolyzers, we're aiming only at a 10-fold increase. Heat pumps, doubling the market size from 26 to 51 gigawatt. Batteries, more than quadrupling of the market size. We heard from speakers like Bianca Dragomir from Cleantech Iberia. She said, you need three things: speed, speed, speed. Speed, scale, and simplicity on top of it, to bring the single market forward. And as you know, the Commission and our President, we are very much committed to reducing admin burden, permitting times, and everything that's, kind of annoyingly holding you back in your projects. So that's access to market. Let me say a word to access on finance. Of course, we're going through a deep transformation, and the 24 million companies in the single market will have to take investment decisions about the decarbonization of their business model. But there's also a lot of public de-risking money around. We're talking about 600 billion money that is dedicated through European and national budgets to helping that clean transformation. Of course, there is a sore point. Not everything is perfect. Capital market union is still missing. We're making progress, but more is needed. Euronext is now the biggest stock exchange in the EU. It stands at a quarter of capitalization compared to the US. So we can make progress. That's why I think we have to start the story saying that capital market union, integration of capital markets, deeper capital markets is actually industrial policy. Angela Ivanova, the CEO of Lamon, showed us this morning how actually public de-risking through EU funds can help to attract private funds into the business. Enrico Letta, who is the president of the Delors Institute and will be writing the report on the single market next year, also highlighted how much it is important to integrate capital markets. My third reason for considering Europe a continent of opportunity is the access to critical inputs. We did focus on energy because whatever your business model, essentially you always need energy, and it's part of the business case. The Russian war of aggression on Ukraine has exposed a big dependency on our part. We acted quickly, we acted decisively, and we are now diversifying our supply, and we are also ramping up the production of renewable energy. It was a hard lesson. So we want to avoid a similar situation, and that has taken us to think of new types of regulation, like the Net Zero Industry Act, like the Critical Raw Materials Act, which are really focusing on the supply chain and on the business case in the supply chain. What do you need, and how can we make sure that the whole supply chain is secured? Also, a word on access to skills. Europe is a continent of talent. We can be very proud of highly skilled workforce and education and vocational training, all at top level. According to the UN Education Index, 10 EU member states are among the 20 performing countries worldwide. Europeans are champions of entrepreneurship. 15.5% of working people in the EU are entrepreneurs. And we saw many of you, and this morning still we had a panel with the next generation entrepreneurs coming. Compare that, and this is, I found personally surprising, to 6.6% of the population in the US and 9.6% in Japan, OECD source. And in the words of EIB Vice President Ricardo Mourinho, companies will choose where to stay because that's where they find the knowledge and the know-how, which is in Europe. Of course, we're facing significant skill gaps, in particular when it comes to the clean tech situation, but we're also developing new models how to go about that skills gap. There's the academies for batteries, for solar, the pacts for skills, which actually organize a discussion between workers and employers to look together. Where are the needs? How can we upskill? How can we transform? How do we make sure we leave nobody behind? So, these were the 4 reasons I heard for considering Europe a continent of opportunities. Let me, at the end, go back to the beginning. The European Union is an old lady. She is based on the idea of freedom and cooperation in the single market. And that is a big opportunity. And it's up to us, whether we are a company, whether we're a citizen, to seize that opportunity and improve the opportunity. Obviously, we heard a lot of things that are not going so well, starting from bureaucracy to missing funding. But, you know, freedom and collaboration, that's what will move the cursor. And I want to say to our Ukrainian friends who have been here in impressive numbers, you are in so many ways already part of the single market project. And I would say, keep it up. There is a lot of space where we can work together. I want to thank everyone. I wish you safe travels, and I see you around. Thank you.